Okay, y'all. So I'm doing a request video. One of my followers requested that I do a video on uh, my journey to initiation to Yemo. So that's very interesting and is actually a very intriguing story. It's a beautiful story. It's one I haven't shared yet, so I think it's an awesome idea for me to do that video. So that's why I'm doing this today. Um, and it's impromptu as well, because usually I'll try to script out what I'm going to say when I do videos for you all. But with this one, I'm like, you know what? I need to do this video. Let me just try to flow with it and see how it goes. But from the beginning, let's say this. I actually have several Orisha spirits that I've been initiated to that are rare, or that I'm connected to, I will say, that are rare, and I haven't found a lot of information or background or people that I can connect to who have had similar journey. So I don't have a lot of reference. But for me, for some reason in my journey on my path, this has been a thing. It's about 3 different spiritual energies that I've had this similar encounter with, and I'll go ahead and let you all know. So Yemo is definitely one of those. My journey of connecting to my Congo spiritual ancestors, um, my journey of practicing Ukongo is rare and is different. It's something that I haven't found a lot of reference to as well. And I've made a video about that because I started out with my initiation to Palo, but that led me on to more of a traditional practice with Congo spirituality. So that was something like I felt like I pioneered because I didn't have a lot of reference. Not to say that it isn't anyone who's done that as well. But that was something unique for me, as well as with Yemo. So Yemo, Bukongo, and another one that is very, very unique. I have not shared of anything. I don't think I've shared anything about this particular Orisha yet, but I have a family Orisha that my journey with connecting with that energy has been very interesting, intriguing, lovely. So I'm going to get into that probably in another video, but the name of that Orisha is called Oshumari. And I found out about a link. It is actually a family Orisha of mine. And I found this out years ago. So I'll get into that in another video, into that story. But today we're talking about Yemo. So with Yemo, let's see, how did that start? It actually, I had initiated to Insazi through Palo, Mayombe, and then next was Oshun. But before I initiated to Oshun, and even probably before I initiated to Palo, I had a set of godparents in North Carolina who had did a Lukumi divination for me with the Kari shells, Era Lagoon, and they told me at that time that they couldn't really tell me, they couldn't tell who my Orisha was. They didn't really give me like my quote guardian head Orisha, but they saw Obatala very strongly around me. I wasn't in a place of really understanding the Orisha. I didn't know a whole lot about the Orisha at the time. So it was like, of course I knew about Oshun, but I wasn't sure. I was like, Obatala, not sure. And then someone else did another reading for me down the line, and they told me it was like a cross between Oshun and Yemoja. Okay, so they told me it was like a cross between Oshun and Yemoja, but I didn't really understand that either. But I wasn't really connected to Yemoja. I felt Oshun energy, but I wasn't connected to Yemoja. So I was like, But they also told me that it was a very, I want to say that this reader told me it was like an ancient version of Yemòwó, but they couldn't tell. So that was early years. Then I will say that later on, years later, because that was very, very early on my journey. So years later, after I initiated to Oshun, I started practicing myself doing Kari show readings. And to be really transparent, in my practices, another priestess trained me on how to read the Kari shells. However, I myself was practicing on myself. So I would cast the shells and read on myself, and I was using some books as well to understand what the sign was that was falling for me. And one of the books that I used, I'll have to put the name at the bottom of the video because I don't remember the author's name, but I know it's a very popular book. It's a very like a large red book, hardback book. It's based on Lukumi, Eradilagoon divination, and it's I think it's called Dilagoon. But I use that book. My books that I use, you know that I use them because they're worn out. They're all worn out. So I use that book a lot. So often it was years that I was reading and actually using what I was taught, the lessons that I was taught, and referencing those things that I was taught with books as well. And I still think it's fine when you need to reference the book as a priest or priestess, by the way. But old school priests and priestesses really use a lot of oral. Everything is locked in their head. That's how it's done. But I have seen more present day people refer to their notes, refer to whatever they may have on their iPad that they've maybe their PDF books in regular books. So at that time, I was using some books to reference the Odu and understand what the Orisha messages were. And of course, I don't remember the actual Odus that were falling for me at the time, but it was a few times when I was reading for myself, divining for myself, and the Odu that would fall in that particular book would talk about Yemo. And like this person needs to receive the Orisha Yemo. So when I would look up that particular Orisha, I could not find out anything about that Orisha. I couldn't find any type of information besides a few paragraphs on Facebook from time to time and random pictures, images, maybe on Pinterest or things like that, but never any in-depth information. And I can tell that this video is probably going to be 2 parts to it. So from there, it intrigued me because I was getting these messages in my own divinations, and then I couldn't find out any information about this particular Orisha. So after more years, I think I initiated to Ifa, and after doing that, it came up again. And when it came up, I I took it more serious. And I started asking other people in the spiritual community if they knew about Yemo. So I started asking priests. I was asking priests of Obatala because I figured if anybody would know, it should be them because Yemo is the wife of Obatala. And I remember reaching out to a priestess on Instagram that I had not really had a formal conversation with. I met her before, but I'd never really talked with her before. And I sent her a message because I was so intrigued and wanted to know more about this Orisha. And she told me like, no, and she's very knowledgeable. She's one of those priestesses on social media that is very smart and very knowledgeable. And she did not know anything about Yemo. There is a Cuban Cuban priest that I took an online class with through one of the cultural organizations, and I can't remember the name of that organization. I'm gonna put that on the video as well. I had taken a class with him, and he's Cuban, I believe, with a very thick Spanish accent, but he does speak English. And I asked him, I sent him an email because he gave us his email address at the end of the class. And I sent him an email and asked him if he knew anything about Yemo, and if he knew, both people, I asked if they knew anybody that was initiated to Yemo, and they both said no. He said no, he didn't really know much. And so I was still, at a blank space kind of with it. But as I researched her myself, I started to have dreams. And in my dreams, I started receiving downloads. I call it downloads, or messages that I felt like I was receiving from my ancestors that was giving me clues. And I'm not going to give too much in-depth details about what I was getting in my dreams, because I'm going to put that either in some literary form, like a book, that I'll put out for everyone. But I was getting these messages at that time in that manner, and from that point, I'm trying to see what came next. From that point, I ended up, let's see, yes. So I had to think about what happened next. So from that point, I was having some issues going on in life still. So what I will say is that with every initiation that I've done, I've felt like, okay, I did this initiation, things got better. And then at some point, I was experiencing certain challenges in life that made me feel like I haven't, like it's still more to do. And that's how that's been a pattern for me with how I ended up getting all of these initiations, because I still felt incomplete. So after the Ifa initiation, after talking to other priests and asking, there were things going on in my life that I felt like something is still missing. So I felt a need to still go further in depth in my spirituality. Uh, and I was connected to, had a close associate of a priestess who's well known. She's wrote several books, very smart. I admire her a lot, lots of articles she's put out. And she was doing some initiations here in the States with her godmother, who was Nigerian, and I can't remember where she's from. And it just popped up. The lady her godmother, is someone that I feel is very knowledgeable of the Orisha, in a way that is different than other people. Like, she's one of those people that will just say what she knows about the Orisha, what she feels spiritually, without worrying about what other people have said or what they may think or what's normal, mainstream information. So she was very interesting, and so she was coming to the States to do initiations for something else, and it just came in my spirit. Like I said, let me just ask her if she knows about Yemo and if she could do a Yemo initiation. And the American priestess and the priestess that I knew said, she asked her for me, and they agreed that they would do it. So I was really excited, and somehow I ended up at that point coming across some information about Yemo, where this particular information was from a Lukumi-based source, and it was a bit fragmented, but this information was depicting Yemo as an incarnation of Yemòwó, which I've heard before as well, like an ancient incarnation of Yemòwó. So it did give me some insight, though, some further insight and some details that I hadn't had before. So I was just really excited. and I was preparing for it. And this was all supposed to happen within, like, with me asking them about it. We had planned to do this within like a month. Um, so things were moving really fast, but I was super excited and preparing and getting ready. And at this time, I was even going to take one of my, have one of my goddaughters that was with me at the time to actually initiate to Yemòwó. So we were going to do it together. Long story short, with that, that did not end up playing out. And a situation occurred where the initiations had to be canceled. So I'm going to leave that, like they had to be canceled, but there was no bad energy amongst myself and the other priests and priestesses involved. It's just something that happened and it had to be canceled. So I want to say with that, that if you are on this journey and you're looking to do this, there is times, there's possibilities where things can change, and you just have to know that challenges come and it can shift when and where and how you think that these things are going to play out. Now, from there, I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed because I had got my hopes up and I was ready and preparing, and I was really disappointed that this did not go through. But I let it, things I eventually balanced out. And I want to say it was literally about a year later. It was about a year later, maybe even 2 years later, from when this happened. But what I do remember very vividly is it came up again about Yemo, and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to do this. It came up in my dreams, and I'm like, if I'm supposed to do this, like I've tried to do it, it didn't go through. Like, how's this going to happen? So I was with my husband. We were newly in a relationship at this time. We were actually, no, I was with my husband, and we were actually preparing to go to Nigeria to get married. And I asked one of my Orisha, who can I ask that would know about that would know about Yemo? And I asked about my husband, and they said yes, like he knows someone, or like he knows someone that can initiate me. That was my question. Like, does he know someone who can initiate me to Yemo? And it was a yes. So I asked him about it, and he threw the play for me, and we asked about two different people, and it was yes on both of those people. So at this time, I'm thinking like, okay, well, good. At least I know someone who can do this and who can give me information, but I still didn't know how I was going to do it, because at that time when it came up, I didn't have the money to do it. Previously, I actually had the money to do it. So then now I'm at a space where I'm like, okay, I can see how this can happen. I can see where this person can guide me. I respect the people that we asked about. So it felt compatible. But now where's the money? So this was like literally 2 months before we were supposed to go to Nigeria to get married. And I'm just putting it out there that I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to do it. And we plan everything we already have our plane tickets at this time. So we plan our trip and we go. And what I want to say with that is that, as some people who have already gone through a similar initiation journey will be able to testify that this happens as well. I did not get the money to do that initiation until I was on the plane taking off on the runway. Like, my phone was going off. I was getting cash apps. I was getting Square deposits. The money was coming as we were lifting off the runway on the way to Nigeria for me to do this. So that was just amazing to me, because it was just another sign of confirmation that I like to get for myself, to know when I'm doing something right and when it's in alignment. So the money came right then, because I was short probably like $1,000 and still going and still preparing to do it. And still had already talked to had already told the initiating priestess that we were going to do it. So I was set on doing it, and it came. Every last penny came. So we get there, and this part of the story I'm going to bring to, I'm gonna bring it down to summarize this part of the story and do another part 2 video on it. But we get there, and I had a lot of challenges once we got there. I was balancing out relationship, newly getting married, and doing initiation all in one trip. So the first day of the trip was beautiful. We went to the beach on Lagos. We went to the beach in Lagos, and it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. After the first day, it was crazy. But we ended up, and on top of that, I forgot to mention that it happened to be my birthday during my birthday time. My birthday came during this time as well while I was in Nigeria. So it was a crazy, crazy trip. But I did the, let me see the sequence of things. My birthday came, we got married a couple of days after my birthday, and then I did my Yemo initiation the day after we got married. So it was all within 5 days that all this happened. So when I did the Yemo initiation, I was so full. One of the things I remember is that I was so full emotionally that on the first day, there's certain things that they do to you all throughout the whole event. But on the first day, at the end of the first day, I just cried so much, like I could not contain myself. I was so overwhelmed with challenges and with emotions that I just cried, 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 cried. And to the point that the priestesses were like, sorry, oh, sorry, sorry, oh. So I didn't express what I was crying about, but I was just so full in my spirit. So yeah, I'm not sure how detailed I will go into the actual initiation, more than I'll leave you with this part. When to somewhere in during this initiation and during every initiation, I do what most people should be doing. I don't know if everybody does this, but I did a lot of introspection, and looking within and spending a lot of time in silence. And the times that I did talk, and I knew I had a limited time there, and I wasn't sure how connected I would stay with the priest, the leading priestess that was over this. I wanted to get my questions in when I could, so I remember asking her like what she knew about Yemo, and what could she tell me, because I didn't really know a whole lot besides the things that I told her what I did know, and I told her a bit of my journey of why I wanted to do it. And she told me, she said, we don't know a lot about Yemo. We actually don't know a lot. But she told me what she knew. And so she did have more insight. And it helped me because the stories that she gave me were good, and they were significant. And it wasn't something that is on the internet. It was significant stories. She even told me a book or two that was written by her husband. I haven't decided whether I'm going to put the name of the family that I did the initiation through yet, my elders in that aspect, but she gave me some references, and she did give me some stories. But at the end of that conversation, her words to me were along the lines of, now you are Yemo, you are representation of her energy, so you carry her energy now. So how people see you is how they're gonna view Yemo, or you represent her. You are, what I took from that is that I'm the person that I will, um, I will give people what they know about Yemo. People will learn about Yemo through me and through my representation of her and through my character, in my life. People will know about Yemo through me in that aspect. So it was beautiful, and it was a lot of wisdom that I took in with that. And it was something that I really didn't know until I got back home, because they do take pictures. A lot of pictures, people share their initiation pictures on the internet, which I do not recommend, but there are pictures that they take of you. And some of the pictures that they took, some of the pictures that they took, when I look back at the pictures, I can see the energy of Yemo all around me. And it's something that leaves you speechless. It's something that leaves you in awe. If I could show this picture, I would show it. So I know that the energy was present. But it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. It's been a journey that I've been very patient with, because along the way, step by step, I don't have to do much but put it out there that I will be led to the proper understanding of this particular energy, of this Orisha. And now I feel like I directly receive it. I directly receive the guidance from Yemo herself within me. So it comes up within me first, and then I'm led little by little to more and more information that before I did this initiation, it was almost impossible for me to find anything. And now I've had people actually approach me because they know that I'm initiated to Yemo and say, hey, do you know that Yemo is in this Odu? Or the story about Yemo and Obatala is here. There's a story here. There's a verse there. And so little by little, I'm getting tidbits and tidbits that's adding up and adding up, to the point where I finally met a priest who told me, like, Yemo is, if you want to know about Yemo, go this place, go talk to these people. And that's where I'm at now. So I was told that about a year or two ago, and I've been working on my research and study, and making it a point to connect with these people that and other references that I was given. So that's where I'm at with Yemo in this particular part of my video, and I'll see what else I decide to share in the next video.
Ọkọ̀ awo nítorí ajogun sóde mọ́wọ́ tó sóde mọ́rùn kíkú tó yáwọ́ kọ́mọ́ pa àṣẹ o. Yemo ògóńgó mọ̀gà ìyá ayé.
If you're ready to transform your life, click the links below to explore my manifestation coaching programs and a range of powerful spiritual tools designed for your journey. From self-care products to one-of-a-kind jewelry, you'll find what you need to thrive.